Rain flowing to the ocean, we all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. Isis, a star, Tatiana, Hecate, Demeter, Kali, Shinada. Isis, a star, Tatiana, Hecate, Demeter, Kali, Shinada. We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. Hello, my friends. We've got a little paradigm shift here with, different seating. I'm on this side instead of that side. Got to be flexible in the world, Got to go with how it's going. Hello, hello, and welcome. I want to begin by acknowledging that we are on the unceded ancestral land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish, past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish Nation. Welcome to the 25th anniversary worship service in Gaia's Temple. Warning, I'm going to cry. Okay, good, there you go. The little ministry that could, for a quarter of a century, Gaia's Temple has been where we have gathered to worship the divine feminine, who manifests as different goddesses all over the globe, and the globe herself as a great Mother Gaia, planet Earth, Mother Nature. There have been many, many changes in Gaia's Temple along the way, and 25 years later, we are still here, providing the sacred space where we foster love of the divine feminine by honoring nature and the qualities of compassion and relatedness. So, if you agree that this is a good idea, then you have come to the right place, because this is where we honor and tend to our minds and our hearts and our souls in shared and loving community. I am still Reverend Judith Laxer, and I'm honored that you've chosen to spend an hour or so of your time here with me in Gaia's Temple. Thank you so much for showing up in person today. It means a lot. So I'm going to be offering the announcements today, and the first is to remind you to tell your cell phones to turn off. And I'm going to do that on my own because I forgot to do it when I came in here today. And so please, if you haven't already, do what I've done and turn your cell phones off. Okay, great. Very good. Next Saturday, we're throwing a big bash to celebrate our 25 years of this ministry. It's going to be at Howler Lake Community Club, just off of kind of between I-5 and Aurora, closer to Aurora on 127th. Beautiful place. It's where we have our winter Sabbaths all the time anyway, so many of you have already been there. If you need an elevator, instead of climbing the rather steep stairs at the beginning, then at the entrance, then you can run around, you can park around. You don't have to run. You can park around the back and then come in that entranceway and take the elevators up. It starts at 6:30, so we figure from 6:30 to 9, maybe a little bit after 9. It's a free event, although it is a potluck, so we ask you to bring food and drink to share. There's going to be a lovely blessing, which will be our nod to Mabon, since we're not having a full-out Mabon celebration this year. There's going to be a fantastic silent auction also, because one of the things that you learn about running a ministry is that every event is a fundraiser to keep going. So, and I want to give a nod and a bit of applause right away to Christine Steele, who is the chair of our silent auction. And she's done an amazing job both procuring and setting up and just doing. She's going to be running the auction at the event, so it's just wonderful. All kinds of great stuff. I'm already thinking, oh, I want that, and I want that, and I want that. There's going to be music. We'll have some time for dancing. Of course, there'll be a birthday cake. And if you want, and I hope you do, bring some cash, because we're going to be doing a cash raffle, $5 a ticket, and the winner gets to split the pot with Gaia's Temple. So the more tickets we sell, the better for everybody, including the winner. So I really hope that you'll join us, because I think in times like this, it's becoming more and more rare that we have something to full out celebrate with joy. And so I hope that you join us there. So that's next Saturday night. And here's the thing. Here's the big thing about that event. For months now, we've been asking people to sign up on the volunteer sheet to come early at 5 o'clock and help us set up, and some people to also stay late and help us clean up. There's only 4 names on that volunteer sheet, and I happen to know one woman is recovering from an accident and can't make it. Please, please sign up and be a volunteer to help us. We need help that day, because it's a big party and there's a lot to set up for. So on your way out on the networking table, if you would feel so inclined, I'd really appreciate if you could volunteer to help us out. Many hands make light. So yeah, then next month we have 2 wonderful events coming up also. On Saturday the 18th, I'm going to be leading a grief ritual, which I know people are like, hey, grief ritual, can't wait. You know, but it's really a wonderful thing, because we're carrying that grief anyway. And when we sort of alchemize and metabolize it in sacred space, we feel lighter and we feel better. So you can go to our website, gaiastemple.org, and the event page, and register there for that event. And that, in a way, is kind of a preparation for our big Samhain ritual, which will also be at Haller Lake this year on November 1st. We couldn't get it on October 31st, but we figure it's still in the same 24-hour period. And so we'll be honoring our ancestors at Samhain, and I hope you join us for that too. And then after the service today, I hope you will stay for fellowship, for Shellowfip. And we have lots of fun when we shello together, so I hope that you will stay after the service. Okay, so now we're going to sing, because that's what gets the energy moving in the room. I was going to say in the ring. Wow. It might be that you cry, actually, from my shenanigans here today. Okay, there are the words. A lot of you know this song already. If you don't, you'll catch on pretty quick, and it goes like this. I know an old woman who weaves the night sky. See how she spins, see her fingers fly. She weaves within us, beginning to end. Our grandmother, sister, and friend. She is the weaver, and we are the web. She is the needle, and we are the thread. Oh, she changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. I know an old woman who weaves the night sky. See how she spins, see her fingers fly. She weaves within us, beginning to end. Our grandmother, sister, and friend. She is the weaver, and we are the web. She is the needle, and we are the thread. Oh, she changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches. One more time. She touches changes. Beautiful. Let's continue to create our sacred space now. So if you will, close your eyes, go within, let's take a nice deep breath together. Take a moment and call all the pieces and parts of you home. Any part of you that's anywhere else than other in this room. Anywhere else in your past, in your future, distracted by anything. Just take a moment and call all of you back home so you can be here now. And breathe into that presence once more. And as you exhale, begin to ground yourself to the earth. Imagine a line of energy extending from the base of your spine, reaching downward, down through the chair that you're seated in, down through the floor, down through the foundation of the building, and deep into our Mother Earth. Keep dropping your taproot down deep, deeper, even more deeply. And when it reaches the ground level so that you feel so connected to her, so held by her, send out smaller little branches reaching out and taking hold. Good. Imagine now that those roots and rootlets become porous and start to drink the energy of Mother Earth in and up. And know that what you are drinking up is her sustenance and her nourishment, her strength, her beauty, her diversity, and most importantly, her unconditional love. The unconditional love of the mother. That's what we're drawing in and up. Keep drawing it up, up, up. Let her transfer over into your spine. Keep drawing her up, 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 till she gets to your heart. And when she arrives there, let her rest. Breathe deeply to make more room. And we'll leave the energy of Mother Earth resting there in our hearts. Now, in your mind's eye, look to the heavens and find the moon. She is waning, half moon today in Gemini. And draw that erudite, loquacious Gemini moon down onto you and into you. Open up your crown. Receive that silvery light as she pours down through you, making her way into your heart. And when she arrives, once more, breathe deeply. We'll let her rest there with the earth energy. And then look to the heavens once more and find the sun in Virgo, earthy and grounded, healing. And draw that golden sunlight down onto you and into you as well. Imagine that golden light pouring down from the heavens and drink it in. Feel as the sunlight enters all the way down into your heart, and once more breathe deeply to make more room for him. Good. Now in a moment, I'm going to have us take a nice deep breath together. And this time when we exhale, use your exhalation to push these three cosmic energies of earth, moon, and sun straight forward in front of your body. We'll let it swirl all around us, creating our safe and sacred space. So here we go. Deep breath. And out it goes. In this way, we say we have stepped between the worlds. What is between the worlds is not affected by the worlds, but can heal and transform. And so we say, our circle is cast in perfect love and perfect trust. Blessed be. Blessed be. There you go. Don't be afraid to say it. Blessed be. There you go. Thank you so much. Would one of you ladies want to come up and light the candles while we, there you go. Excellent. We're going to sing in the elements now, and the words will magically appear above you. Here we go. And first is to Earth in the North. From here. What happened? It's not on here? Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, you'll catch on. Here we go. Earth, spirits of the earth, carry me. Spirits of the earth, carry me home. Spirits of the earth, the air, carry me home to my heart. And to fire in the south, spirits of the fire, carry me. Spirits of the fire, carry me home. Spirits of the fire, carry me home to my heart. And to water in the west, spirits of the water, carry me. Spirits of the water, carry me home. Spirits of the water, carry me home to my heart. And to spirit in the center, spirits of the center, carry me. Spirits of the center, carry me home. Spirits of the center, carry me home to my heart. Thank you. And now for the invocation. I believe those are there. There we go. Let's read this all together, shall we? Holy Demeter, you who sustain us, be with us. Blessed Persephone, you who choose a journey of descent, be with us. Powerful Hades, magnet to the underworld, be with us. Wise Hecate, catalyst for the inevitable, be with us. Today we seek to find ourselves in you, be with us. To trust what lies beneath, be with us. To make wise choices for our lives, be with us. As autumn ripens and the days grow shorter, be with us. We gather on this fine day, our 25th anniversary, to once more be in your presence. Be with us, blessed be. Woo-hoo, blessed be. All right, so this is where we get on up and say hello, meet and greet each other. There's some new people here in the room. If you're here for the first time, raise your hand. Woo-hoo! We'll make them all welcome. Go ahead, stand on up and say hello. It's just us here. Shake hands. Hello, hello. All right, good job, everyone. Uh-oh. What's happening?
They're having trouble with the live stream.
Wow. We just got notice that we're having a little trouble live streaming today, so it's being recorded and we'll upload it later. So for those of you who are tuning in later, sorry about that. Nice to see you now. So now that you're all seated, are there any September birthdays in the house? Was anyone born in the month of September? Come on up to the front of the room. Here we go. Woo-hoo! When you're magic. Did I change the?
You just jumped right in.
Did I jump in it? There you go. When you're magic, anything can happen. When you're magic, you're a shining star. Listen to the moonlight, call your name. You know who you are. Believe in magic, let it carry you to wonders near and far. Love is magic, love is a record, 3 times up and back, right? My goodness, we are living through intensely disturbing times, aren't we? An understatement. Everywhere we look, we can find division and cruelty, violence, deception, apathy, snark, and the fanning of some very dangerous flames. Wow, flames, dangerous flames. You know, typically I'm pretty good at holding myself pretty steady, keeping the faith in the highest good, letting in just enough information to stay informed, but not letting so much in that it steals my joy in living. But this past week, specifically on 9/11, with all the memorials of that occasion, on top of all the usual madness, the most recent gun violence, I mean, I lost it. I just lost it. I just put my head down on my desk and I had a good sob. This autumn equinox, it seems that we are not just going into the seasonal darkness, but it's clear we're already in social and political darkness as well. So taking care of ourselves and our loved ones and those less fortunate than us couldn't be more important. In times like these, so very fraught and tension-filled and perched atop existential dread, when what is left of social sanity is on the brink of complete dissolution, we have some important choices to make. How are we going to maintain a sense of balance at such an extreme time in our history? How are we going to keep the faith as we walk the spiral path of our spiritual lives? How will we uphold our ability to love and be kind as the mayhem reaches a boiling point? These are good things to consider, and now is the time to make those choices, each for ourselves.
Onward we go round the spiral, touching darkness, touching light. Twice each turn we rest in balance. Make choices on this night. Make choices on this night.
Onward we go round the spiral,
touching darkness, touching darkness, touching light. Twice each turn we rest in balance. Make choices on this choices on this choices on this choices on this night. Go round the spiral, touching darkness, touching light. Twice each turn we rest in balance. Make choices on this choices on this choices on this choices on this night. Onward we go round the spiral, touching darkness, touching light. Twice each turn we rest in balance. Make choices on this night. Make choices on this night. Make choices on this night.
Thank you. So I'll ask you if you would once more close your eyes and go within. We're going to do our meditation pretty much close to the front of the service today at the top here. Reestablish your connection with your grounding cord deep in the earth that you set in at the beginning. And if you entered in after we did that, then go ahead and ground yourself now and breathe deeply. And bring your attention to your third eye in the center of your forehead. Go ahead and open it up and look out through it into your imagination and find yourself sitting on a park bench under a maple tree whose leaves are turning crimson in season. The air is crisp and fresh, but not yet cold. And everywhere you look, you see signs of the turning season. The autumnal equinox, or Mabon on the wheel of the year, is fast approaching on Monday, September 22nd, at 11:19 a.m. when the sun goes into Libra. It is a time when, as our women just sang, we have a fleeting 24 hours to rest in balance and make choices for ourselves and for our lives. And we know that the equinox is when we cross the threshold into the dark half of the wheel, when the days will be much longer than the nights. For some, this is a wonderful time. For others, not so much. But regardless of whether we like it or not, the wheel turns, and no one can stop it. Autumn is upon us, and we are heading toward winter. So let's consider now those 3 questions I put forth a moment ago. How are you going to maintain a sense of balance in such an extreme time in our history? Take a moment to think of one thing you can do or one action you can take to maintain a sense of balance in your life. Maybe it's making sure to get to sleep earlier, or maybe it's trading some screen time for time out in nature for a while. Take a moment now and consider how you might maintain personal balance during the dark half of the wheel. Good. And now consider how you will keep the faith as you walk the spiral path of your spiritual life. What will you do to maintain your faith? Maybe you'll meditate for a bit each day, or recommit to a devotional practice, or maybe you'll just pray more often. Take a moment now and choose something to help you keep the faith. Good, and now consider for a moment how you will uphold your ability to love and be kind as the mayhem reaches a boiling point, because it surely is doing so. Will you count to 10 before reacting? Will you remove yourself from the chaos? Will you remind yourself in the moment that it's not what happens, but how you respond to it that matters most to your soul? Take a moment now and choose something to help you stay loving and kind, regardless of what's going on around you. Good. Now review these 3 choices that you've made. How you'll maintain balance in extreme times, how you'll keep the faith, and how you'll remain kind and loving regardless. Just review those so you can commit them to memory. Good, and then take a nice deep breath and gently come back here to this beautiful sanctuary here in Gaia's temple. When you feel ready, gently open your eyes, come back, come back. So I have purposely broken from Gaia's temple tradition and not offered my revision of the ancient myth of Persephone's descent and Demeter's lament for the past 2 years at the September services, so that it might be even more impactful today on our 25th anniversary. I'm going to say the words 25th anniversary a million times today, just to let you know. Stories like this, resurrection stories, they're good for us to hear, especially now. I dare say they are necessary, like the story of the annual flooding of the Nile due to the tears of Isis that she sheds for Osiris, her beloved, upon his death and his subsequent resurrection. Or the birth of Jesus told every December, and then of his death and resurrection in the spring. Or the story of the Sumerian goddess Inanna and her descent to and ascent from the underworld. Because these iconic stories, and at the very foundation, they help us to reckon with the life cycle. And like with all good stories, we often find that we can relate to the characters in them. We empathize with their thoughts and their feelings. We grieve with them and we celebrate with them. And in this way, we come to understand the plot of our own lives and sometimes the plight of our own lives. We see ourselves in these stories when we imagine what these characters experience. And this helps us to grapple and engage with the mysteries of life and the mysteries of love and the mysteries of birth and the mysteries of death. So for those of you hearing my version of the story for the first time, you will see that I tell it quite differently from the classical version. My version does not contain abduction or rape or violence of any kind, because I believe that if we are to eradicate misogyny and all the harm that comes with it, we must eradicate its accepted enactment in our stories and myths and lore. Now, I know there's so much more work to do than just changing ancient narratives, but don't be fooled. Changing the narrative is a powerful tool, and I hope by telling it this way again and again, and that because many people are hearing it, including all those listening to the podcast all over the world, that it is effective in helping eradicate misogyny and violence. And in my version of this life cycle story, I significantly changed the character of Hades, and in doing so, hope to offer a model of masculinity that is so desperately needed in our times. So I want to start with some backstory to this tale today, and that starts with the Olympians, or when the Olympians toppled the Titans. So the younger and vigorous Olympian gods rose to power, as all youth do, and eventually took the place of their elders in the life cycle, because that's how the life cycle goes. Greek mythology is very dramatic, which is probably why I love it so. And so the story goes that the Titans tried to stop the Olympians, who were their children, from usurping them from their thrones, and this became known as the War of the Titans. And to cut to the chase of that story, they were unable to do it, because that's how the life cycle goes. And here we see a very ancient template for this theme of that life cycle. The young will be born, they will grow to power, the old will eventually decline and die. But the beauty of nature's grand design is that life will continue generation after generation, whether we fight it, whether we believe it, whether we want it to or not. Now, 3 Olympian brothers, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, upon completing this coup, divvy up the world into 3 realms and then draw lots to determine which domain will be theirs in the new regime. Zeus gets the sky, or as he likes to think of it, the entire universe. Poseidon gets the sea, and Hades the underworld. Now, the drawing of lots is a fair way to make a decision. No one that the decision will affect can influence the outcome that way. But when we look more deeply into it, drawing lots is an act of faith. Faith in the outcome that is up to the fates. The 3 ancient maiden, mother, and crone who spin, weave, and cut the thread of life. Even the gods themselves cannot change a decision made by the fates. And it is this sense of destiny that plays a strong role in this story. Even Zeus, the almighty sky god, the archetype for the Judeo-Christian Yahweh who came later, is powerless to the fates. The fates rule. So they draw lots, and Hades gets the underworld. Now, for all intents and purposes, this is a pretty raw deal, right? The short end of the stick, really, because the sky and the sea are filled with light and beauty and color and life, while the underworld is a dark, cold, and damp place of shadow and death. The translation of home of Hades from the Greek means invisible realm. At first, Hades isn't happy about getting the underworld, about not being seen, about not having power in the world of the living with his brothers. But when Zeus explains to him that all of the people of the world will eventually be his subjects, because that's part of that life cycle, he says, oh, okay, I'm in. As if he could change his fate anyway, the silly fellow. So Hades becomes lord of the underworld, the realm where spirits go when they leave their bodies. I always think of Hades as a Scorpio, someone who is comfortable in the shadows, in the hidden and the mysterious, in the realm of death and the soul and the inevitable. But I don't think that Hades realizes in this fateful allotment how lonely he will become. He likes the idea of his powerful position as lord of the underworld, knowing that everyone sooner or later will become his subject. But I don't think it occurs to him at first that sooner or later, but I don't think it occurs to him at first that Zeus could couple with anyone he desires, and he does. Goddess, demigod, or mortal, or even animal for that matter, and not suffer loneliness. And Poseidon could couple with any sea nymph or mermaid and not suffer loneliness, but all he will get are ghosts, spirits, not flesh and blood, because flesh and blood are relinquished when one dies, and in his realm of the dead, there is no flesh and blood. As time goes on, Hades rules the underworld, but on his own. His power over his subjects makes for a lonely bedmate, and soon his heart is bereft of comfort. It's one thing to understand and perform your role in your designated realm to fulfill your fate, and it's another to do it with your heart and your loins aching for a companion. Now, over time, Hades becomes adept at gleaning stories from the above while ruling from below. He learns how to still his mind to receive these messages and images and to manage the pull he often feels to join his brothers and the rest of the world in the land of the living. He masters the art of the dream. And as time goes on, stories of Zeus's and Poseidon's escapades reach Hades in the underworld, and although envy keeps his ache of loneliness alive, he is stalwart in his duty. He doesn't abdicate his throne for an easier or happier life. He fulfills his role in the underworld with the spirits of the dead when their bodies are complete with living. He remains in integrity. So here we have a God who is developing patience, acclimating to being invisible, learning that power and invisibility are not mutually exclusive. A God who is no stranger to the dark mysteries, a God who accepts his fate despite his loneliness, who understands that his realm is the eternal marriage of life and death, despite his longing for a real lover. And in the underworld, he stays, living the life below. While above, the great grain goddess Demeter walks the fertile landscape of green bounty with her beautiful daughter named Persephone. And the two were very close, and the love and respect between them knew no bounds. Wise Demeter watched as her daughter grew, and she taught her how to be a very good goddess. Like most mothers, she grew very attached to her daughter, and therefore she had a bit of difficulty letting her go as she began to mature. She knew in her heart that as her daughter came of age, she would need to create her own life, to test the waters of her own experience as a young woman. And her heart ached with the knowledge that this surely meant Persephone would soon be leaving. Demeter worried about this, but she tried not to think about it. She tried to feel okay with it. And in truth, she did all three. One day, Persephone was taking a peaceful nap in the meadow of wildflowers. The sun was shining, the air was warm and fragrant, and wise grandmother Hecate, the old crone, knew that with both Persephone fast asleep and Demeter nowhere to be seen, the time was now to do her part in keeping the cycle turning. With the power of her immortal hand, she cast a spell upon the sleeping maiden. Whispering into her ear, she caused visions of the lands below to enter her dreams. She charged Persephone to see what was transpiring in the dark of the underworld, and this is what Demeter's daughter saw. The great king Hades was below, downcast and weeping in loneliness. On a throne of carved black marble, he sat in shadow, bent over as one who was forlorn and lost. Beside him was an empty throne, and upon it lay a jeweled silver crown. Hades then began to sing. Low and ominous, the song bespoke such yearning that all of the souls below began to mourn with him. Hades sang until his deep and haunting sounds found the ear of fair Persephone, and in her dream, she could see that King Hades could see her sleeping far above. She felt his sadness. She also noticed how handsome he was, and her heart flooded with love and compassion. It was as if her heart had awakened. It had opened to the Lord of the underworld, and now her only wish was to join him and to bring light and beauty to that dark place. She wished to bring him the essence of the sun and the beautiful flowers that she had known in the bright world above. Her thoughts filled and focused solely on the swarthy god who had already stolen her heart. And Hades had seen her. This was no fleeting snip of a story from above, no apparition that would disappear on the next exhale. This was a real goddess of flesh and blood, whose eyes held his in equal fascination, awakening a passion in him that he could no longer keep under restraint. From his palace of darkness, he went to the grotto of black stallions and harnessed the steeds to their waiting chariot. He jumped in, and just before he snapped the reins, he called out to her, "Persephone!" And the sound of her own name caused her to stir, and she woke to find her grandmother Hecate beside her. Hecate raised her ancient and divine hand across the meadow, and there appeared flame. The poppies shone a deep blood red before they were engulfed in the holy fire. And beyond the red and glittering flame, the earth burst asunder. Great mounds of earth spewed out as black stallions entered the world that had not borne them. The field became burning ember, and beyond the field, the god of the underworld drew up his chariot and waited. His penetrating gaze locked with Persephone's once more, and a jolt sped through him. Yet he held perfectly still, attempting to steady his quickly beating heart, hoping against hope that the fates were giving him someone to love, someone he could cherish, someone he could satisfy, someone to share his life with, down to the very depths of it. Hecate raised Persephone from the ground as fear and courage awoke together in the maiden's heart. But she was steadfast, and she removed the crown of poppies from her hair and cast it into the flames. Her gaze was fixed upon the face of her beloved, and uncrowned, she walked across the field of ember and flame to descend with the Lord of the Dark. Her veil, embroidered with lilies, was left behind. Into the waiting chariot she fled, the brilliance of passion filling her heart. Hades drove the black steeds once around the earth and then down through the rocky chasm into the lands below. As the holy daughter crossed over, the silver crown appeared upon her head. Once entering the underworld, She did not drink from the river of forgetfulness. Instead, she drank from the shining spring of memory, and the voices of the dead rang out in jubilation. The queen was received, and the celebration began. It was then that the powers of Aphrodite, the goddess of passionate love, entered the underworld. Into the palace, Persephone and Hades came, lit from within with love for one another. On the couch of Aphrodite they lay, entwining their jeweled arms in the fiery embrace of love and passion, he enamored of her beauty and light, and she of his mystery and darkness. And so, through the power of love, did life become one with death. And when their passion was, for the moment, spent, they quenched their thirst and refreshed themselves with scarlet seeds of juicy pomegranates. In time, Queen Persephone came to receive the souls of the dead, and this matured her. She reigned as the queen of justice and set herself to bring balance to the ledger of every shadowed soul who called out to her. And in this way, she helped the newly arrived to understand where they were and the reason for it, to reevaluate the life that they had just lived, to come to peace with the lessons, to determine what would be next, and most importantly, to rest without obligation so the soul can restore. Now, on the surface of the earth, Demeter came looking for her precious daughter. As she approached the meadow where last she saw the sleeping maiden, she gasped in horror as she spied the smoke rising from the smoldering embers. Persephone was nowhere to be seen. The goddess of the grain found only her daughter's scorched veil, and panic seized her heart. "Persephone! Persephone!" she cried. "Where are you?" Her pace quickened, and she began to roam the earth looking for her daughter. Demeter searched and searched for 9 days and 9 nights. Unceasingly, she did not stop to rest or to eat or to drink, and her thoughts were circular. They rolled over and over, the terror of finding her daughter missing, to wondering who might have seen her, to why they didn't tell her to come home, to what might have happened to her, so that she might be in danger, to heartbreak that she was gone, and back to the terror of finding her daughter missing. Round and round, for 9 days and 9 nights, she ruminated on these things as she walked looking everywhere for her little girl, her sweet daughter, the divine maiden who lived in her heart. And as the days passed and her hope dwindled, the crops withered in the fields. Soon nothing would grow, and the first autumn was born in Demeter's despair.
Autumn time, red leaves
searched and searched and kept on searching, barely noticing that her clothes were turning into rags, that her feet were covered in dirt, or that the light that usually emanated from her aura, the light that indicated her divinity, had faded. She became weary and suddenly old. Bitter sadness shaped her mouth. Dark circles underlined her haunted eyes. Exhausted, she walked everywhere, unwilling to give up. Months went by, and the land was as barren as the goddess's heart. It seemed nothing would assuage her sorrow. By now, Persephone had become accustomed to Hades' ways of gleaning from the upper world, and then, as if it were meant to be, she felt and heard the sound of her mother's weeping, and it broke her heart in two, one half for her mother and one half for Hades. The thought of leaving her beloved was unbearable, and yet the thought that her absence was the source of such pain for her mother, and consequently the searing hunger of all the people of the earth, filled her with guilt and remorse. She ruminated on her dilemma and could find no solution. She withdrew into herself so that even the light that she had brought to the darkness began to wane. And just before her light went out, she sought help outside of herself. Hecate, the crone goddess of wisdom, appeared before her, and the presence of the loving grandmother was the only comfort Persephone had felt since she felt her mother's sorrow in the upper world. "Holy Queen," Hecate said to her, wiping a tear away from Persephone's cheek, "ease your heart of its burden of sadness. Come now, listen to my plan. Stay with your beloved Hades from the time the grain is stored to the time it is again planted. Then rise to work with your holy mother as before. The choice is yours. You chose to come here, and yours is also the choice to go. Have pity on those who cry out to Demeter to return the land's fertility. They cannot wait forever, else all will be below and none above." The heart of the holy daughter filled with gratitude for the wisdom of the crone, and she fell into the old and loving arms and hugged her fiercely. Then she ran to tell Hades of the new plan. And Hades was so relieved to see the light in Persephone's eyes once more. He trusted the wisdom of the plan, and even though he knew he would miss her terribly once she returned to the surface of the earth, but he loved Persephone as deeply as the underworld itself, more so even, beyond measure. The god loved his goddess utterly, and so he followed the depth of that love and agreed to the plan without hesitation. Wise Hades, good Hades. Her kiss, which neither of them would soon forget, assured him that he had pleased her. But before the kiss could seduce them further, Persephone laid down her silver crown and crossed over to earth. Demeter was overjoyed to see her daughter again, to know that she was safe and to observe how she had grown. They clung to one another in a loving hug for some time, and their tears flowed. The earth greened once more. The maiden was received by the mother, and the crone crowned them both with evergreen and laurel. Hecate would both precede and follow Persephone thereafter. Demeter promised eternal life to all those who would come and experience and keep the mysteries of life and death and life again within their initiated souls. Still, in her heart of hearts, Demeter knew she would never have her daughter completely as she once had, as the innocent little maiden whose heart was hers alone. She knew that during the time Persephone returned to her beloved in the underworld, she would not have the will to make the land green again without the blossoming maiden. She knew that she must accept this as surely as the passing of time. She knew that just as Hades had to wait until each autumn to see his beloved again, that she must take comfort in the knowing that the spring would always herald Persephone's return.
Picking flowers in the fields, all in the springtime of the year. I heard the sound of chariot wheels and was afraid with nothing to fear. And there he stood with his eyes like fire, his face as dark as a night in hell. And there he stood with his eyes like coal and said, "Fair lady, I wish you well." They say he forced me, but that's not true. Of my free will I followed him down to his dark place beneath the hill, to his dark palace below the ground. And there he loved me and I loved him, though all the world there was icy dark. We didn't notice the lights grew dim for all the bright flame inside our hearts. They say above us the world grew cold, the flowers and leaves all began to die, the fruit trees withered and grew old, and darkening clouds covered all the sky. My mother searched hard to try to find the pathway leading down from the sun, and long she traveled with troubled mind until she walked where we both had run. I'll never forget that dreadful hour. She stood before us and bade me leave, her dress of sunlight, her face of flower, his face behind me so full of grief. We made a bargain and made it sure, we made a contract and made it sound, that I would stay with her for half the year, the other half come below the ground. It was so good at first to see the sky, to walk in sunlight and hear the lark, but not so good to have to say goodbye to my love down there in the dark. Oh yes, it's true then that life is good, and I have learned the lesson it can teach, that you can never have all you want, and you never want what's within reach. The sweetest flower that ever bloomed grows far deep inside a bush of thorns, and happiness then is like the rose, for without pain nothing good is born. To know the daylight you must know dark, to know the flower you must know weeds. You cannot meet again unless you part, or eat a pomegranate without seeds.
I called this service What Lies Beneath, not just to focus a bit more on the underworld as we cross the threshold of the equinox, but because there's so much that goes on underneath and out of sight that we often don't know about. We can imagine what the underworld is like, we can imagine what goes on under the surface, but until we go there ourselves, we can't really know. We can only imagine. Now, our imagination is a beautiful thing, but it can also cause us pain. Demeter is in pain because she is not in the know about what happened to her daughter. It's bad enough that Persephone is missing, but what Demeter's mind does is torturous. The scenarios she creates in her head, worrying about the awful things that might have happened to Persephone, that is in large part because she doesn't know that her daughter followed a vision that she followed love, that she was growing and maturing in a way that she couldn't possibly do in the bright light of day with her mother beside her. And because Demeter doesn't know that, she suffers. Demeter is grieving a loss. Persephone is on an adventure. They're both having vastly different experiences of the same event. I'm sure we can all relate to what's going on in the world right now. Demeter couldn't possibly know that Persephone was madly in love and having an ecstatic time with her lover, that she was helping the souls of the dead, that she was going to return to the surface once more. So this not knowing what is under the surface, what lies beneath, can be just like their experiences for us. On the one hand, we can fret and worry and tie ourselves into knots because we don't know what lies beneath, and what lies beneath in our imaginations fills us with dread. Or we can keep the faith and follow the unknown to satisfy our curiosity. Of course, following the unknown to satisfy our curiosity is the preferable way to go. The idea that we might not know everything, including the outcome of events, is an extremely uncomfortable one. We don't like not knowing. We want to be in the know. Where our faith comes in is in holding fast to the idea, even when we might not know for certain that it's true, because that's what faith is. It's believing in something that you can't prove is true. To hold fast to the idea that what also lies beneath might be a nonviolent way forward. What also lies beneath might be a healing way forward. What also lies beneath might be alliances forming that we don't know about. Alliances to resist danger, to help one another, to return to love. We're not always in the know. And while that makes us uncomfortable, it doesn't necessarily mean that the worst of our imaginations can conjure up is a certainty. One thing we know for sure, my friends, the wheel keeps turning. Nothing stays the same forever. Although it's not fun to traverse through the dark, uncertain, and difficult times, we must remember that no matter how bad it gets, it can't stay that way forever, because the nature of nature is change, and like the fates, nothing can change the nature of change that is change. Our job, our highest priority, is to take care of ourselves and one another as we travel through these dark and difficult times. Our job is to show up in community, to create community, to show up for community, because that's how we're going to get through these dark times, together. We're not going to get through them isolated. What lies beneath the surface of the faces that we show to the world, beneath the information we receive on the news and the social media platforms, are the motivations for our actions. There's always a deeper reason why we do what we do. Sometimes we act or react without consciously knowing our own motivations, much less anyone else's. So let's kind of pull back from the judgment of everything that's going on and turn toward ourselves and understand our own motivations. And if they are not coming from a healed place, maybe focus on that work instead of what everybody else is doing wrong out there. That would be a really good way to go, because then you heal and you get stronger. You can hold yourself better in difficult times. And the dark half of the wheel is conducive to reflection on what lies beneath, within ourselves as well as everywhere. So don't be afraid to delve under the surface for meaning and understanding. Go ahead and chase that. Don't shun the longer nights. Use them to go deeper. Excavate the depths during the dark half of the wheel. Don't let the fear of the unknown steal your joy. I'm going to say that again. Don't let fear of the unknown steal your joy. Seek out joy. Find joy in all the ways you can, and like a good pagan, indulge them. Indulge them to help you get through. And then don't forget to share your joy. Don't catch the stinginess bug. The judgments, the snark, the constant battling of viewpoints, the desire to win, to be the smartest, the funniest, the what have you. It's really stingy. There's no generosity of heart in those interactions. And joy, now that's a contagion I'm sure we would all welcome. Right? Right, okay. So the Sabbath of Mabon is the second harvest festival on the Wheel of the Year, the harvest of the fruits and the vegetables. So I will draw your attention to the apples on this altar here today. Harvest and gratitude are beautiful companions, and each time I relay this beautiful love story of loss and return, we offer a blessing called the Tree Wassail. And today, on the 25th anniversary service, will be no exception. So our beautiful ladies will come on up here and bless these apples for us.
We praise the trees, strong may you grow. We praise your roots that downward go. We praise your branches reaching high, bearing leaves that touch the sky. In the spring with blossoms crowned, in fall apples ripe and round. Bless the flower and bless the seed, and bless the fruit of every tree. May winter's cold to you be kind. May you blossom in the spring sunshine. May gentle rain in its season fall. May you be loved by one and all. In the spring with blossoms crowned, in fall apples ripe and round. Bless the flower and bless the seed, and bless the fruit of every tree. We thank you for your blossoms sweet. We thank you for the fruit we eat. Receive our thanks for all you give. Grow in love, long may you live. In the spring with blossoms crowned, in fall apples ripe and round. Bless the flower and bless the seed, and bless the fruit of every tree. In the spring with blossoms crowned, in fall apples ripe and round. Bless the flower and bless the seed, and bless the fruit of every tree.
You sure did. So let's enjoy these apples during our fellowship, shall we? So we can feel the blessing in each delicious bite. And I'd like to ask if there's a volunteer who would be willing to come up here after the service, get this basket, bring it back over there, cut a few of them up so we can all share. And even if you don't take a bite right then and there, take an apple on your way. I don't want to go home with any apples. Take the apples. Take the fruits of wisdom, my friends. Somebody that says, I'll do it. Great. Thank you so much. So, I want to end this service with all of my gratitude for your presence here. For the 25 years at Gaia's Temple. Did I tell you it's the 25th anniversary? That Gaia's Temple has carried me and shaped me and satisfied my soul. Hopefully, Gaia's Temple will continue long into the future. But that is also something we can't know in this moment. All we can know, and all I know for certain, is that my heart is overflowing with so much love for you and for all your support. May the Great Mother bless us all with all we need and then some. May she guard and protect us. And may the beauty of autumn and each of our descents into the dark half of the wheel bring the treasures that lie beneath. Deepened faith, increased wisdom, and strengthened love. Thank you so much, and blessed be. All right, so this is where we open up the floor for our community prayers. And do we have a mic that we're using today for that? There it is. So Noemi will bring the mic around to you. If you have a prayer to offer, please hold it right up to your mouth so we can actually hear what we're praying for. When you're finished, say blessed be, and we'll go on to the next person. Does anyone have a prayer they'd like to offer today? Wow. There you go.
Thank you. A couple of prayers. One prayer for my sister and her daughter, her daughter has just aged out of school and is in need of services for her developmental disabilities. And so these services are hard to come by in Maine. So prayers that all the services that she needs find their way to her in good match, and that she may grow and thrive. And then a second prayer for some dear friends, a family who are going through a loss, and Tom as he makes his way into the underworld, and his wife Sharon and son Nate, that they find comfort and new pathways to joy and connection and community moving forward. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
I'm asking for prayers for my older brother Chick. He's on a cancer journey, shall we say. It's slow growing and caught it early, so we've got some good hope there. And also prayers of gratitude for my dear friend Claire that I've known since elementary school. She's been declared cancer-free, so yay, blessed be.
Blessed be.
I thought I couldn't let a day go by without also saying, thank God for the 25th anniversary of Gaia's Temple. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
I'd like to ask for prayers for my father-in-law who was just diagnosed with dementia, and for my mother-in-law and sister-in-law who care for him at home right now by choice, and prayers that care at home journey can continue for as long as possible. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
So my husband has been a stay-at-home dad, parent, homemaker, everything, and we just got our last kid off to college, and so as he ventures into whatever the equivalent of cronehood would be, he's looking for what he's going to do next, and he's sort of thinking maybe he'll go be a white cis male where that is needed and be a good one. So if we could toss a little community spirit at that and give him a little extra power, because yeah, we could use some more good ones.
Blessed be.
I want to send a prayer up to my neighbor, Nicole, who went in for her latest round of chemotherapy on Friday after a not so successful bone marrow transplant. So we're hoping that this one takes, and sending her lots of love, sending love to the family as they continue to support her through this journey, and sending her lots of healing energy her way for the highest good of all. Some would it be. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
So yesterday I sent an email to my family. For several years, we've kind of had a don't ask, don't tell. And it's been slowly eating me up that there's parts of my life, my joy, that I've had to constantly filter myself. And so I sent a long email about what boundaries I'm going to be enforcing for myself, the things that I am going to do rather than asking them to change, because I realized that I, for years, have made myself small to make other people comfortable. And there's only so small I can make myself and still be alive. And they haven't responded to that at all. They've been talking to me about other things. So they're probably gonna do the thing they usually do, where they just ignore my needs. So I would love support both for my emotional journey, as well as the hope that maybe this time they'll be curious, maybe this time they'll want to hear about why it hurts. They haven't in the past, but I try to maintain hope that eventually they will want to know me for who I am today, not the child that they fondly remember, who I really never was. So.
Blessed be. May all our prayers, spoken and unspoken, be heard and answered. Blessed be. So I'm going to pass the love offering baskets now for your donations. And just to let you know that Gaia's Temple is well, first of all, we're a nonprofit organization, so your donations are tax deductible. If you are interested in us keeping a record of that for you, then on the networking table out there is a file box. In the back of that are some envelopes. You can put your donation in there, write your name on it, and then that envelope will be alphabetized by your last name in the file box. So that's the system. Each time you come, you can get your envelope and just put it in, and that's how we keep a record. And at the end of the year, or at the beginning of the next year, you'll get that record of your donation. So thank you in advance for that. Also, hold on, because we are because we're a nonprofit organization, we tithe to other nonprofits that are in alignment with our mission, vision, and values. So 10% of what you put in here is going to go to one of those organizations, and we're tithing to a new one today. We found an organization called Real Rent Duwamish, which calls on people who live and work in Seattle to make rent payments to the Duwamish tribe. Though the city named for Duwamish leader Chief Seattle thrives, the tribe has yet to be justly compensated for their lands or even recognized federally. Their resources and livelihood, nothing has come to them. On their website, they say you can do something today to stand in solidarity with First Peoples of this land by paying real rent. And all funds go directly to the Duwamish Tribal Services to support the revival of Duwamish culture and the vitality of the Duwamish tribe. So, of course, they want you to make monthly payments. Our tithing is, we have like 6 organizations, so twice a year they get something, but twice a year they'll get something. And today we'll be tithing to them. So thank you in advance for all your generosity. And now we'll start to sing. Thank you, Mother, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. Thank you, so much, my friends. Okay, so one more thing before we release the elements, and I'm sorry, it's kind of a long one. You know why? Yeah. So I sure would love to get a selfie with all of you. We brought a selfie stick. We did. So what I'm thinking is, if you don't mind, we could all kind of come to the center, and Noemi's going to come up here, and Noemi and I are going to turn this way and take a selfie with all of us. Let's do it. If you would, indulge me. Indulge everyone. Just right into the center here. Noemi, you coming up?
Hang on, I'm setting up.
Okay, she's setting up. I probably should have asked about that first. Oh, he's so good to me. Thank you for indulging me. Yeah. You know what? Why don't I read my closing thought while you're standing there? We'll save some time that way. So I'd like to end this service before our selfie with the following poem by Angie Sullins that says, "Nobody tells you Persephone was a willing participant." Well, I did, but anyway. That she wasn't picking flowers when devoured by Hades. She was digging, looking for a crack in the world, something earthy, something deep, some wild darkness to take the edge off the unbearable brightness of being mother's daughter. There comes a time when only the throaty howl of the abyss and its wild-winded chariot can carry our transformation. The piercing of red forbidden fruit, the swallowing of a seasoned seed, blazes our truth alive, embodied. To dance the equinox and weave the solstice in land and lake and limb, we must call upon the dark to know ourselves as light. Blessed be. All right, how are we doing there, Noem? Are we there? All right, here she comes. Almost, somewhat, maybe? What?
We're not going to use the stick.
We're not?
Well,
we're not going to use the mechanism thing.
I'm going to stand up here and actually push the button instead of using the magic of the stick.
It won't link.
It won't link? Okay.
Where do you want me?
So, yeah.
I don't know. Come with me.
So there we go.
Are we too far in front of people? Here, let's crouch. Come here, and we'll crouch down. Here we go. Yes, we can get all of you. Everybody say 25 years!
25 years!
Thank you! All right, let's release those elements, shall we? Thank you, Mother, for the earth that is your body. Thank you, Mother, for the earth that is your body. Thank you, Mother, for the earth that is your body. Thank you, Mother, for your love. Thank you, Mother, for your love. Thank you, Mother, for the air that is your sweet breath. Thank you, Mother, for the air that is your sweet breath. Thank you, Mother, for the air that is your sweet breath. Thank you, Mother, for your love. Thank you, Mother, for your love. circle around the room, shall we? Let's hold hands. Let's get in here. Well, might want to come forward a little bit. Let's scooch all together in one big amoeba-like circle. It's kind of a half circle. It's like a moon. That's right. The circle is open and unbroken. May the love of the goddess go in our hearts. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. Thank you so much, my friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, we're going to get those apples.